All right, hey guys, Jason here. We are back up here. We're at JC Lewis Ford. Today we're going to talk about how my daughter almost got shafted while she was just doing a test run to learn some stuff, but almost got shafted by a dealership. And there's a lot of information in this, so you're going to want to stick around. However, I also have to give you the backstory. So I'm going to do that now, but I'm telling you it's worth it because we're going to break it down. I got a lot of information on here. So my daughter and her husband, you know, they're married. They got they got Ronan, my 2-year-old grandson, and they had 2 new cars. She has her Buick Vista SUV, and then he had his Honda Civic. Times got tough when he got laid off in there. He ended up getting rid of that Civic because he couldn't afford 2 new car payments coming out to $800 and something. So they got rid of the Civic, kept the SUV, and now they're ready to buy another car because he's back at work, got a new job, things are going good for him, and he's so they want to get a second car to bebop around with. He actually now gets a company truck. So she's got pretty good credit. Again, she's only 23 years old. She's 23 years old. She's got a 636 credit score, is her actual credit score. 635, 636 it was. And so she was planning on buying a $15,000 car. She's gonna. And I say, you know, okay, well, when you're ready, we'll make this happen. We'll make this whole thing happen for you. She's like, no. I don't want you to do this for me. I do not want you to do this. I want to learn. I want you to teach me. Teach me how to do these things so that I don't get taken advantage of. And they're lessons I can use later in life. So however you got to teach me, teach me. So, okay. So I already knew. So I looked it up and I contacted a couple of banks that are around me. I knew what her percentage rate would be based on her situation and her credit score, amount of money she wants to get. I did not let them run her credit, but I knew that she'd be coming in about 18% would be where she would be when she's looking at that. In today's world, that's kind of where you're at. You're under 660. 660s that change are there, and she's just a little bit under it. Dollars is a heck of a lot easier than paying 18% on 15. So this was the plan. There it is. But she says, I want to know how to do this. I want to learn. So I told her, here's how this works. Here's the game plan. Between now and the time we're ready, when you're ready 45 days from now, when you get time, I want you to go up to dealerships and I want you to act like you're going to buy a car. Pick a $15,000 car and something that you like, and then go up there and talk to them and try and do it, but promise me 2 things. 1, you will not sign. Do not buy nothing till we talk about this together, okay? Number 2, do not let them run a credit check. If they run your credit, it's gonna go against you and it's gonna hurt you. Do not let them run credit. So those are my only 2 rules. Well, tonight was her first night. Today was her first day that she tried it all by herself. So she goes up there, and I didn't even know she was going up there. So she goes to a dealership, a local dealership here. I'm not saying which one, and I'm not saying the car, but man, did they try to take her to the bank on this. They tried to get her, and it was quite interesting. So she calls me up. Now, kind of fortunately, it worked out. Again, I told you there's going to be some rambling in this. I was out hunting tonight, and I missed a hog. I was actually pretty bummed out. I shoot a longbow, and I missed a hog at 14 yards by deflection, and I was kind of kicking myself, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise because by missing that hog, I was out of the woods before dark, or right at dark. Had I killed that hog, I was like 2.8 miles into the woods. I would have had to bone that hog. It would have taken me an extra 45 minutes to get out of there. I would have missed this call because I had no cell service there. I get back to the truck and I get in the truck, and as soon as I hit cell service, my phone blows up instantly, like 25 text messages. Bella's calling me. She calls me. I'm like, what's up, sweetie? And she's like, hey, listen. And she starts to tell me what's going on. She tells me about this deal. And so here's the story. Let's talk about how they worked a 23-year-old girl on a $15,000 car. And she came in there knowing not a whole lot. So how they took advantage of her. That's what we're at here. So she walks in to look at this $15,000 car. She really likes it, actually. They tell her, well, we'll get you the best deal ever. We'll get you the best deal ever. It's the end of the year or end of the month. We only got a couple days left. We got to sell at least 11 more cars in order to make our numbers. So we're really motivated. We're going to make this work for you, and that kind of thing. And don't worry about rates and things like that. Heck, we sell cars here for 0% all the time. Heck, we can sell X car. I'm not going to say what it is, and we can sell that for $400 all day long. We can hook you up for this. And so she's all excited. She's like, and I actually like this car. So she's at this dealership for 2.5 hours. He tells her that, look, I mean, I can tell you, I can get you the actual numbers if you want. You want me to get you the actual numbers? What your payment would be on this? I can get the real ones. It's like, yeah, that would be great. He's like, well, fill out this form right here. We can check it out. And so they're talking and they're looking at the car, and he's telling her how great it is and all this kind of stuff. And she's taking it hook, line, and sinker. She's excited. He's doing his job very, very well. He owns her at this point, and he's got her hooked with the emotional aspect of it and how great it is and how many MPGs it gets and how they have such a proven track record. And, it's got a CVT, which is so smooth. I mean, he's got her. Well, that let us get you those real numbers was permission for them to run her credit 4 times. She didn't even know it. She said, I would have never let them run my credit. I told him I didn't want my credit ran. I told him I do not want my credit ran, not yet. And they did it because she agreed to get the real numbers. By her saying, I want the real numbers, go ahead and get them, that meant run my credit. And they ran it 4 times on her. That was a big hit. That kind of bummed her out. So what do they come back at? They come back at 25.16% on $15,000 for 72 months. 25.16%. I have all this documentation. I'm not showing it to you, but I have it all. Okay. 25.16% is the number they give her with 630 credit score. They give her 25.16% on a $15,000 car. And they were able somehow to stretch it out 72 months, which on a $15,000 car is 7 years old. It was a 2018. I don't know that that's even possible, but somehow they managed to work that. That should be against the law anyway. You should never be able to take out a 6-year loan on a 7-year-old car. But they got her 25.16%. She calls me up on the phone. She's like, Dad, this deal, this car is really nice, and the interest rate seems a little bit high, but he's working the numbers for me. It seems like it's coming in pretty good, and it is in our budget, and I really kind of like it. And so it comes back at her for her as a payment of $401.11, $401.11. for 72 months on a $15,000 7-year-old car. I'm like, Bella, promise me, let me just say this first. Bella, promise me you will not sign a paper. Do not sign anything. You are not buying this car. Do not, under any circumstances. She's like, but Dad, I'm like, listen, do not buy this effing car. I kind of was like, listen, he's got you hook, line, and sinker, and do not let this happen. I'm telling you, do not let this happen. Walk out right now. And she's like, well, okay. And so I tell her, so don't. And she calls me back right away. And she says, hey, Dad, but seriously, let me know. So she didn't leave the dealer, but she walked out from the dealer thing, and she's out in the parking lot. She's got me on the phone. She's like, that deal. I'm like, Bella, he is screwing you every single possible way he can. He is literally destroying you, and you're accepting it, and you want it. And this is what we want. This is what I wanted you to experience. I wanted you to do this so that I can teach you. But rather than me just explain everything and show you, I wanted you to experience this. But I did not expect you to give in this easy. Stand your ground. You do not want this deal. This is the worst deal in the world. Walk away from it. She's like, well, the number seems right. I'm like, Bella, okay, pull up car payment calculator on your phone right now. And I tell her where to go. Carpaymentcalculator.net. Okay, you use it all the time. I'm like, I want you to type this information in on that car and then see what the monthly payment comes out at. And she's like, okay. And she did it, and it came in at like $360 something is what it came out to, $360 something. Actually, I wrote it down, $360.92. And that was with $500 in fees. It's a used car, shouldn't be any fees, but title, doc, fee, whatever. I figured worst case, $500. She's like, what? Why is it? It's coming in at $360.92. Why is he telling me it's $401.11? I'm like, because he's got a lot of fees in there that he's not telling you about. You didn't ask about him. He's not divulging them yet, but he's got fees in there. Now start changing the amount where I told you to put in the $500, start changing that until you get to the point where you hit the $401. She's like, it's $1,800 in fees. I'm like, exactly. He's hitting you with $1,800 in fees that you have no idea about, that is all profit for them, that he is hiding in there on you that you're not going to know about until you get there. She's like, he can't do that. I'm like, he's doing it. He's doing it right now. Get up and walk. Walk away from this deal. Just walk away. You learned enough. We'll talk more later. Just get out of that damn dealership right now. And so she calls me back a few minutes later. She's like, hey, he told me that he could bring the rate down from 25 to, or 25.16 down to 22 even. That's a pretty good deal, Dad. Maybe I ought to jump on it. And that takes my payment down to like $370 a month. Maybe, you know, and I really do like this car. I said, Bella, ask him how he was able to do that. And then when he gives you the story, say, you mean buy rate versus sell rate? You mean you're charging me sell rate? And so I was on the phone with her when she did. She looks at the guy and she says, so let me get this straight. You're playing buy rate and sell rate with me. You were going to give it to me for 25 is what you told me was the best I could get. Now you're telling me it's at 22. Is that your buy rate? And I can hear the guy, the sales guy, and he says, well, yeah, we're pretty close to 22. It's pretty close to buy rate. I said, so Bella, so what he's telling you, let me do the math. Put me on hold for a minute and I'll get back to you. So I pulled my truck over, I pulled out the calculator and I did the math. And I said, so here's what it comes out to. Okay, so he is charging you 3.16% of sell rate, which I thought was illegal to go more than 2% or 2.5%. I thought it was illegal in many states to go above 2.5%. Here's a guy doing 3.16% of sell rate and buy rate on her, on this vehicle, which, so I said, so here's the deal, Belle. Because he was going to charge you that 25%, that 3.16 was going to be a profit for him. He was going to, that dealership, at your expense, he was going to profit an additional $450 on that car, but he was going to let it mean that it charges you $2,000 more in interest over the term of your loan. He was going to make you pay $2,000 more to the bank so that he could get $450 today. And you not know the difference or not know anything about it. She was livid. She was livid. She's like, between that and the fees, she was furious. She was absolutely fed up. So let's look at that loan note for a minute there, okay? Right there, I said that on there, what it cost, so I covered that, okay. So I said, here's the deal. So we broke it down. At 25.16%, had she signed that deal on a $15,000 car, it would have cost her $31,906 for that loan. On a $14,899 car, okay? So $15,000, it would have cost her $31,906. Of that would have been $1,800 to the dealer in fees, and it would have been $14,000 in interest over that 72 months. $14,000 of interest over that time. So this is the reality of this. Now, obviously, Bella walked out of there and she was pissed when she knew it. But let's talk about the reality of this. That dealership, that sales guy did everything right. That's his job. Suck every penny he can out of you. Take it away from you. And the whole time he had her hook, line, and sinker, that it was a good deal for her. He was taking care of her. He's going above and beyond for her. She needs this. This is the vehicle for you. This is going to solve all your problems and save you so much money in gas. Oh, the rate's a little high, but when your interest when you get your credit up a little more, you can get a better rate and refinance. He doesn't care, in fact, because he wants his sell rate profit check of $450 immediately. Okay, all these games. So Bella comes over. I get home. I was 2.5 hours away where I was hunting. By the time I get home tonight, right now it's already like 11:30, but I just got done with Bella. But she comes over. We sit down, I break all this stuff down for her. And then we talk about all the things that she learned, all the games. She's even in tears a couple of times because of how bad she felt that he was taking advantage of her, and she was mad at herself because she didn't see it. She didn't know that he was doing this. She didn't understand how he could do this. She was mad and upset that a human being could actually play games like this to another person. Yet they do this every single day to people. Every single day. Now, Bella's asset she has is she has me in her corner. And I'll make sure that she doesn't ever get a bad deal. However, this sales guy was so good, he almost took that away from me. He almost sucked her in just because I sent her out and said, go experiment and learn this, go do a purchase experience. Do not sign, do not let them run credit check, do not any of that stuff, do nothing, but go try to buy a car so then I can talk to you and teach you what you did and didn't learn. It was a learning task. It was a thing for me to be able to teach her. And I mean, I'm talking, hard love kind of stuff. Look, Belle, jump in, dive in the deep end. And when you can't swim, we'll teach you what you did wrong and why you sank afterwards. It's a great teaching method. And that's exactly what I wanted. Rather than me go with her and, and then her see what I'm going to tell them and why and it not make sense, I wanted her to go to a dealership, get rung through the ringer, see the reality of it, and then I can teach her how to avoid that stuff. This guy almost got her. He almost got her. He was that good. Think about that when you're buying your next one. Now, we covered a lot of the stuff that I've covered in previous videos in this, and I have more coming, buy rate versus sell rate, things like this kind of stuff, length of term. We got a lot of things that are going to come up in the future here, and this gave me a lot of ideas for videos. But now there's one more important part here that's vitally important, and I want everybody to pay attention to this and listen and do it. You are now, if you're watching this channel and you're paying attention to my videos, you are an educated buyer. You know that they cannot play these games to you. You know you would never fall for this stuff. You are educated. However, most of the people that you know are not. And they are going to fall for this stuff. And they are going to get pinched with these kind of things. Help them. That's the takeaway here. Like I said, don't let them fall victim for this. You don't have to go ahead and teach them every one of your secrets. Like I'm going to do with Bella. She will be super educated in this, but this is her first time. Her last two vehicles, I went with her. I did everything, and she just sat back, and she had no idea what was happening. Now she wants to know. She wants to learn. And so this was a teaching moment that almost blew up in my face. But you want to make sure that if you have people that you know and they're going to buy a car, offer to help them, even if it's just a matter of being there or going with them when it comes time to sign or being there when they start to make the deal, or have them run the deal by you so you can verify that it's good. We have this knowledge. It's important for us to take care of the people that we know and we love and make sure that they don't fall victims to this stuff. These guys at a dealership are trained on levels that are unimaginable today to be your best friend and suck you out of every penny that you have. And I was anxious to see what would happen when you send a 23-year-old girl in to buy a truck or a car by herself on a used car and deal with a used car salesman and see what would happen. I was floored by how this went. Now, had I went with her, it would have never went this way, obviously, but on the same note, that sales guy would have read right through me. He would have started saying things to her that he would have seen just by my facial expressions. He would have seen that this is not going to work. And he would have also known by me being there that it was not going to work. He would have never tried this stuff. So it was important for her to go alone to experience this. Now, imagine all of the other 23-year-old girls, 25-year-old girls, guys, everybody that has no experience buying a car that is going out to do this, and they have to deal with this stuff too. Prey, bait, food, dinner, that's what they are for hungry dealerships that will suck everything they can out of you. That's what it is. It's our job to help them. Make sure they don't have to fall victim to that kind of stuff. That's my big takeaway here and the reason for making the video, hopefully so that you never go through it And again, if you're watching this, you probably never would. You know better already. But think of all the people around you that are buying new cars that don't. And we can offer something to them. So thought I'd share the story with you. Hopefully you enjoyed it and got something out of it. And questions or comments on any of it, put it down below. Thanks for watching.